Constructing your life is about much more than just building a bank account. Each week, join real estate entrepreneur and mindset coach Austin Linney as he interviews guests who are constructing their dream lives and impacting the world around them on a daily basis. If you're an entrepreneur or wanting to start a business, or you just want to hear motivating stories of how others have overcome the odds, you are in the right place. And now for your host, Austin Linney.
Guys, welcome back to Constructing Your Brain Dump. I like it. I'm going to use it. I'm going to steal it. Constructing your brain. I don't know. It doesn't matter. We're here.
Construct your dump.
Construct your dump. So we got Anthony here. Here's what we're going to do. This is fun. And I don't think we do this enough.
I don't.
Because, we all text each other when we're on a new, I think I figured out our new game that we like for the rest of our life. Our favorite thing to do is find somebody, an author, or a content creator that the other person hasn't found yet. Yeah, it's like, that's like my new thing. We used to do it in music. Now it's like, dude, you got to watch this guy. He thinks like just like we do.
Listen to Naval. Yeah. Have you heard about Hermosi? Yeah, but what about?
So we're going to spend a couple minutes and we're going to talk about who you're reading, who you're following, YouTube pages, podcasts, something super exciting these days. And I'll tell you who my guy is. I'm obsessed. He thinks
you got a guy?
He thinks I'm a stalker, and we will be best friends. There's no chance.
Who's love your this guy. Oh my God.
Okay, so here's the deal. Some people, I think, get a bad rap sometimes with the way they're coming off because people haven't heard the full boat of their content. But this guy's name is Taylor Welch. He made his money in traffic and funnels. He has 7 businesses now. He makes like a low key. He said he makes $100,000 a day. They made like 100 million last year. He's killing it. And the way that he thinks about breaking down framework ideas is like my jam. Like it's like literally, he does a talk on wealth at a Vegas show. The audience was the most boringest audience ever. And it was like, I would have paid like $10,000 to be a part of that, just to hear this talk, because it was like talking about how Web3. So Web2 was Instagram, Facebook, the big companies, and how Web3 is all about if you're not serving your end user and you don't understand that everybody's reverting to community, and then how to protect your assets. He said, what people don't talk about enough is when you have a bunch of money, where the fuck do you put it? He's like, I know that sounds ridiculous, but he goes through this whole thing, how he spent millions of dollars on tax attorneys. He covers so much. He's a great follow on Twitter. By the way, that's my new thing. It only took 7 years. I am all up in Twitter. It's the smartest content. It's the smartest content on social media platforms. It's amazing.
Twitter is great for very particular sub markets and sub industries. Like if you're in tech, crypto, or anything around that.
There's a lot of guys wealth teaching and marketing. And so what we do is I save the threads I like, I put them in a Google Drive, and we're going to have my assistant pull all those teachings out to organize all the thoughts.
That's powerful. I've never heard of this guy, Taylor
Welch. Yeah. He's got so many really good stuff. He's got a brand called Levels of Wealth. It's a great podcast talking about all kinds of crazy stuff. He's in M&A. He's buying businesses with a partner. It's a lot of good stuff. STR development.
Wait, is this just Alex Hormozi just without muscles? Is that what you're telling me?
Basically. They're friends. They hung out the other night. So yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so here's one for me then. And you're going to love this.
Okay.
His name's Dr. Douglas Brackman.
Oh, I don't know this guy.
Dude. This is really fascinating. A book arrives at my doorstep the other day. And I'm like, okay, I didn't order this. I've never heard of this book. Somebody ordered and sent me a book, and I was like, that's super cool. And I finally figured out it was Hunter Thompson, which I thought was, if you know my love language, you know I love books. So if you guys want to like my pants, send me the book.
Hey,
and he sent me this book, and he's like, I haven't read it, but it's called Driven: Understanding and Harnessing the Genetic Gifts Shared by Entrepreneurs, Navy SEALs, Pro Athletes, and Maybe You. And his thesis is, and he's a double PhD. He's a smart guy. His thesis is that 10% of people have this unique genetic trait that allows them to be driven and like going to Mars levels of driven. And like, as I started to read it, and I was like, wait a minute. I think he's just describing people with ADHD. And then he like later on, he gets into the book. He's like, yeah, there's a ton of crossover there. I was like, oh, okay, interesting. So it's really just a book about understanding and harnessing like the power of the focused mind and your genetic gift as a driven person. If you're listening to this, there's a good chance that you're driven in some way, shape, or form, or you can like magnify that. He has a great podcast called I Am Driven. And he has some really good content in there around identity and fear and beliefs. Just really great. But what he does, he has this course that he does that I'm seriously considering going to do. It's a 3-day meditative retreat where get this. You go and you fire long range rifles at like targets 1,000 yards away, and you do it in a meditative state. And so like the firing of the weapon becomes like part of the meditation. And I was like, what a really interesting mechanism for like focusing you in the moment.
I love this. That
sounds pretty cool.
See, if I wouldn't have come up with this topic, I would have never known this. I just got the book. By the way, it's free on Kindle Unlimited. I'm super excited to dig in. Dude,
his podcast is really good too. You should check it out.
I'm excited. I am. So here's the deal. I'm going to give you a name that you know, but not for the reason that you think. Okay.
Oh God.
I would say that one of the smartest human optimization minds and business owners I've ever met or listened to. I haven't met, but listened to Rob Dyrdek. This dude.
Who?
Are you okay? First of all, you don't watch TV. He is the skater. He's the skater from MTV. He's been on TV for 20 years. Like Rob Dyrdek, the Fantasy Factory. Yeah.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
So, dude, he tracks everything down to the second. Like he literally has his whole team. When he first started Ridiculousness, it took him 2 days to film an episode.
What's his name? Dyrdek?
Yeah, Rob Dyrdek. He has a podcast. He has everything. His podcast is amazing. Now they film 9 shows in 3 hours, and it was all from like systems and processes. And he talks about, yeah, dude. So now he talked about how, so in a TV series, they only sell like 2 years out. He created systems within his TV production company that they could sell it 7 years out, and then bought out the company. I mean, dude, so what he does is he created a venture fund where he grows brands and entrepreneurs and helps them out with systems, processes, and everything. It's amazing, dude. Huh. Like like when I heard his podcast for the first time, I was like, this is what I've been looking for. Like the way he thinks about life and lifestyle and balance. It's a lot of people wouldn't know that he's made over like $400 million in the last like 3 years. Like
interesting.
Yeah. And it all started from like when he was this busted up skater, and he started his first shoe line and then started getting into like business. And yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a cool story.
Hey man, here's the thing I know about professional athletes and people. If they can harness like that fuel or that focus or whatever that allowed them to be so exceptional at what they do and to business or like whatever the next phase of their life is, like they go on to do some extraordinary things. And there's a reason for that. It's like, yeah, one, you have to have like the physical skills to be a professional athlete, but the mindset, like the obsessiveness, and that allows you to become the best, like it transfers. And so I'm not surprised, because I think a lot of people would hear like, oh, like former skater, like the culture, the subculture that goes with that. It's like, no. Those people are sharp.
Shaquille O'Neal, you have Magic. Dude, when I heard the story about Magic Johnson, I was blown away. Dude has movie theaters, Starbucks. I mean, it's just crazy. So
yeah, same with Shaq, right? Like Shaq has like 42 laundromats and like 82 drive-through theaters or something.
They just put it in business. So we got time for yours. Who you got?
All right. So another one that I've been listening to a lot recently is a guy that's dead. Dan Kennedy. So Dan Kennedy is, he wrote these, he was a prolific, famous copywriter, direct sales marketing guy, but he also had a lot of like really good content around like mindset and health and wealth and all of these things. And Russell Brunson recently bought up all of his IP, like bought his estate, and is like redistributing all the content now. So he has like these books called the No BS Guide to blah, 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 blah. And they just released like a podcast where it's like all of his old presentations, speeches, and things like that. And just a lot of actually really good timeless content in there from a guy who was at the top of his game.
Love it. I'm going to give two names real quick before we get out of here. I think that you should please read anything by Dan Sullivan. He made a promise to himself. He's coached entrepreneurs for 45 years. He made a promise to himself when COVID hit that he would write 100 books. And they're short books, 80 to 110 pages with amazing fucking content. If the one you want to pick up, he wrote Gap in the Game. He wrote Who Not How. But the one that is our Bible that we're building our companies off of is called Self-Managing Business. It's $1. And it is, I've read it 3 times through. It is like literally self-managing business. Yeah, it's on $1 on Kindle. It's literally what I live my life off of, is exactly how they're doing. And then also, I just heard him on a podcast for the first time. His name is Todd Herman. He has been a coach since coaching wasn't even a thing. He's coached Olympic athletes. He wrote a book called Alter Ego.
What was his name?
Todd Herman. The book is called Alter Ego. It's amazing. It talks about creating a persona when you step into business to remove you from the anxiety.
Interesting.
You got anybody before we get out of here?
That's it. That's all I got.
All right, guys. Guys, I'm very excited about what we did here. Those are probably some people that you haven't heard of. So I'm super excited for you to get turned on to their content. Hope you got some value, and we'll see you later.
Thank you for listening to Construct Your Life with Austin Linney. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and pay it forward by sharing with a friend. Most importantly, take this opportunity to start constructing your life by taking immediate action on what you learned. For show notes, resources, and more information on one-on-one coaching with Austin, visit constructyourlifepodcast.com.